Hey folks, this is going to be a fairly short one. I just have some ideas that I'd like to process about determinism and free will and objectivity and subjectivity. So determinism, this all has to do with the idea of causes. What makes something happen? So in determinism, I'm sure most people are somewhat familiar with these arguments. Determinism is a world of cause and effect. Things happen because they are caused by other things happening. And you can quickly see how this becomes an infinite reduction to causes. And this has been the justification over time for many arguments for the existence of divinity, because God is the prime mover, if you will. God starts the universe in motion, the great universe machine of causes, of one cause leading to the other. So God is the ultimate cause, and everything besides God is an effect. And what that means is that our lives are, basically determined. That's where fate and all these things start to come in. That, of course, has an issue because, at least within the Western Christian tradition, the concept of free will is very important. You have to choose God, right? You can't, be compelled to choose God by, a cause. Otherwise, you have no morality. You have no free will. You have no ability to decide things. So how can you be responsible for your choices? It's just something you had to do. It's like a machine doesn't choose. A machine responds to causes, and it has effects. So subjects have free will. To be a subject, as defined in German idealism at least, is to possess free will. It's to possess the ability to independently think about and respond to events in your world. To make choices, basically. Choices, in order to make choices, one must possess will, the ability to make a choice, and that's free will. And so we experience our lives as a ongoing set of choices that we make. We experience life as if we had free will. It's just very logically hard to justify that, which is really difficult, because if you believe that things like cause and effect exist, then you must believe that all effects have causes. It doesn't apply sometimes, it has to apply all the time, otherwise it's not the way the universe works. So this idea of determinism and cause and effect and choices and morality are all kind of bound together in this complex of things called the universe that we are trying to figure out. If I'm not responsible for my actions because they are caused by something else, how can you throw me in jail for breaking the law? See, it's a problem. And we don't experience life that way. We experience life as free will. So that's why our legal system, for example, is based on free will. Lots of our aspects of our society are based on free will. But it's kind of logically impossible without the negation of cause and effect, or some kind of ultimate duality between, what happens within us, our experience, and what happens out in the world. So that duality you'll see present in things like, Kantian, philosophy, or Descartes. There's me, the ghost in the machine, my spirit, and then there's just the outside world of dead matter, which is just deterministic and mechanical. That's the world of nature. So my thoughts around this are kind of complex in the sense that, perhaps our experience of free will is a fusion of causality and something like chaos theory, where we can't predict exactly what the outcome is, but we can see within a certain range of possibilities where things must happen, right? It's not unbounded, but it's infinite. It's infinite within a range of possibilities. Anywhere in this range, anything can happen, but it can't happen like outside the range, but there are infinite possibilities within the range. So it's kind of a paradoxical view, but it kind of works in terms of explaining why we experience these things, and yet we still live in a world where we believe cause and effect exists. And I would also like to say, I'm going to wrap it up here because I don't want this to go on forever. I'd also like to say that there are philosophers like David Hume who deny the existence of cause and effect with almost undeniable logic, because he says, you can never see a cause and effect relationship, because a cause and effect relationship has to happen every single time in order for it to be cause and effect. It has to happen. It's a law. It's not, we never get to see that. All we see are individual things happening followed by other individual things. And there's no necessary connection between them, is the way he describes it. So this whole concept of cause and effect can be debated reasonably and intelligently. It's just, it's an assumption that we make so we can function in the world, a heuristic device like longitude and latitude to help us find things on a map. You'll never see a line like that that's not on a map. It's not in the world, but it helps us find ourselves on the planet. So cause and effect are kind of like that. We assume that because we've seen something happen a lot of times, we assume it's going to continue to happen that way. Pattern recognition, that's basically what causality is. So with this assumption of causality, I mean, that's kind of where the bind is. We experience the world as full of choices, but we assume that causality must exist. And so there are some hybrids there. We have this experience of free will. We experience the world as if we're making choices about it. But our choices are not unbounded, but they are infinite. They're bounded, but infinite. They can anything within here can happen, but an infinite number of things can happen within here. And so that's kind of our experience of free will, or our experience as an individual being within a universe. We are this boundary, but anything can happen in there. An infinite number of things can happen within the subject of individuality. If we don't have free will, we're just objects. We're just things. We're like billiard balls on the table that are being knocked around, right? But we don't experience life that way. And it also is a demoralizing view of life, in my opinion. And it's only opinion, but it's not only mine, but it is just an opinion. It's a demoralizing view because there's nothing to do. You become completely passive. You're an object, right? And this is what we do to nature. We call nature objects. We don't see it as a subject. We don't see it as other creatures and living things that we interact with that are sensitive and having experiences in response to ours. At least I would say some of us do, but as a whole, that's not the way that humanity and in our society relates to nature. So, we're both subjective objects and objective subjects, and we are free within boundaries and, infinitely flexible. But, we have to function within a set of laws. So, anyways, talk to you soon. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.